We all know that repealing the Affordable Care Act is going to kick 20 to 30 million people off of their health insurance plans. We also know, according to recent reports, that repealing Obamacare will result in the deaths of at least 40,000 additional American citizens every single year due to the fact that they no longer have health insurance coverage. But according to a new report by the Economic Policy Institute, getting rid of Obamacare, specifically the tax cuts associated with Obamacare, is going to cost the United States 1.2 million jobs in the next 2.5 years. Here's how that breaks down. Right now, low and middle income Americans no longer have to worry as much about paying out of pocket for health insurance. Not necessarily health insurance, but for health-related expenses. So instead of having to put money aside to pay for a hospital visit or to pay for prescription drugs every month, they're saving that money and instead spending it in the economy. A great example is when the expansion of Medicaid happened. There was a great economic boom throughout the United States, hundreds of thousands of jobs created, and 3/4 of those jobs created were not even in the healthcare sector. That is what we call the economic trickle effect. Not trickle down, the trickle effect. When people have more money to spend, they spend more money. That does not apply to the top 1%, the people who have so much money that if you give them any more, they save it or invest it in the stock market, things that don't necessarily help the economy as much as direct spending. But when you give it to low income, middle income Americans, people who have to pay their money every paycheck for things, it creates American jobs. And that's what we're looking at right now if Republicans repeal the Affordable Care Act. 1.2 million American jobs gone simply because people don't have the money to go spend on goods and services anymore. Instead, they once again have to hoard that money and pray that they never have to go have an overnight or 2 or 3 day hospital visit. Pray that they never have to go have a $5,000 MRI performed. Or pray that their child doesn't get diagnosed with asthma or any kind of allergy that requires an EpiPen to where they have to spend $700-800 every few months just to keep their child alive. Because that's what we're looking at here. And so according to this new report from the Economic Policy Institute, 1.2 million jobs will be lost if the Republicans succeed in repealing the Affordable Care Act. So no matter what way you slice it, whether it's economically with the jobs, whether it's people dying from lack of health insurance, there is no good outcome from repealing the Affordable Care Act as it stands right now. But Republicans are still hell-bent on taking away this vital piece of legislation from the American public, simply because a Democrat put it in place and it's paid for by tax breaks or tax increases, for the top 400 families in the United States. That's why Republicans hate this law so much. They don't care about the 20 to 30 million people who are going to lose their health insurance. They don't care about the 40,000 people that are going to die every year from not having health insurance. And they certainly don't care about the 1.2 million jobs that the economy is going to lose as a result of people spending less in the economy because they now have to pay more out of pocket for health care. That is what Republicans are doing. It makes absolutely no sense, no matter how you slice it. But they still want to do it. So at this point, you have to ask yourself, is there any argument that can be made to Republicans to get them to protect this piece of legislation? And the only thing we can say to that is to keep hounding them. Keep showing up at their offices. Keep calling their offices. Tell them how much you like this legislation, because right now, the Affordable Care Act is more popular than it has ever been in its entire existence. And it's because people finally understand that having health insurance is better than not having health insurance. Having a piece of legislation that prevents insurance companies from kicking you off because you have a pre-existing condition is better than whatever the Republicans have to offer.